Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to replace or at least unmount your front window power regulator on a Toyota Yaris, Eco or Vitz. This is the first generation and it's a 2001 model. So basically the window goes up sideways and not fully up, so there's something wrong with the mechanism, probably something twisted or broken. So I'm going to show you how to access that. First we'll need to remove the door panel. So there are two crosshead screws, one just behind the door handle, one in this part, and there are three plastic screws. You just do a quarter of a turn and they half pop out, and then you have to pull out the center piece. You can use a flathead screwdriver to help you if it's a little bit too stuck, like here. Then you remove this plastic cover. You'll have to take off the part with the window buttons. Unplug the wires. Once all the screws have been removed, you can take off the door handle. And you'll have to pull on the panel, so there are retainers all around the side and a couple in the center, I think. So I'm just going to use a blade to pop them out. Be careful as you put it in. Of course it's better with the appropriate tool, but since I don't have it, I'm just going to use that. And it's just going to pop out, so go around all the side until you release completely the door panel. There's a one centered on the upper right side, and you'll have to take it through the door locking latch as well. So lift it up and now you can just take it off. Nothing really complicated about this. Put it aside. Alright, so now we can access the window regulator. We can't see it yet because it's behind this part. So yeah, you'll have this plastic to sort of rip open. I'm going to put back on the commands so that I can bring it down. Yeah, I had to put some tape on because it was quite hazardous to use it. So I'm going to bring it down slowly to see if the problem is visible. Okay, so now I have it in sight, and clearly you can see the regulator arm is completely twisted. So that's why when it goes up, it went sideways and made the window go sideways with it. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that. So in any case, I'll have to take it out. I don't know why it got twisted like that. It doesn't seem to lack of grease. So I don't know. There must be a reason why it got twisted like that, and I hope I'll find out when I unmount the whole mechanism. It's the first time I do this, so I'm discovering as I go. First, you can see that the window is bolted on and glued to this plastic support. I think we won't be able to take the window out of that support, so we'll just take off that bolt. It's a 10mm bolt, hex bolt. So there's one there, and there's another one here. I'll lower a little bit more the window to make the access easier. Yeah, that should be perfect. There are other screws holding the regulator arm, so the superior arm, and then there are the ones holding the motor. So what I'm going to try to do, I think, is remove the window screws, bolts, and see if I can, after that, bring up the window and hold it up with tape or whatever, and then I'll take off the regulator. It's the first time I do this, as I said, so I think it's probably the way to do it. So with a 10mm key I got them out. Here they are. the window is still holding in place because there are, I think, yeah, there are little parts going into the plastic support, as you can see. So as long as it's in it, it won't fall out. Then you pull towards you and then it will make it come out of the bolt emplacement. Okay, here goes. So I'm gonna hold with my left hand the window and pull towards me the inferior regulator rail, and now I can pull the window up. Moving the camera as I go along. Bring the window up, be very careful not to drop it. Be ashamed to break the window. And when it's fully up, I get some tape and quickly stick it in place. Of course, it's a lot easier when you don't have to film yourself doing that, and when you have your two hands free. So here goes, it's taped and more or less secured for the next step. So the bottom track is freed. So now I'm gonna take off all the other screws, no particular order. They're rolled in with a 10mm socket. I just unscrew them all. It's much easier with both hands, but it's really easy. You'll still have to unplug the motor, so you'll just need a flat head screwdriver to press on this little locking pin. Here it goes. Just take it out. And in my case, this is the last screw I'm taking off, so I'm holding the mechanism with my left hand. And be careful where you hold it, because where I'm holding it, it's doing a scissor motion and can be slightly painful because the edges are quite sharp of the arms. Here you can see the top regulator track that was held by two bolts. Try and gather all the arms and the tracks in one piece to make it easier to get out. And there is a door beam in there, so you have to sort of get your way around, pass it above the door beam, and then bring it again back towards you. And here is the whole regulator with its motor. And now we're going to be able to work on it. So just to illustrate how the whole thing works, when you put the window up, the X goes up like that, we'll see, and when you lower the window, everything gets back together, down. So this is the twisted arm, the one that made the window go sideways, and the problem is that the whole piece is sort of like welded, so you can't just change one arm unless you really know how to weld and you have the spare arms, but I don't think you can find them in second-hand shops. Either you change the whole thing except for the motor that you can unscrew from the rest of the mechanism with 3 screws, but I'll have to try and find a way to fix that. But before I show you how I fixed mine, if you have to put your new one in, or in any case put the same one fixed back in, gather all the parts together and put it in motor first, and once you're in there, you're gonna fix one screw here to make it easier to do the rest. And once that bolt is back in, you can just spread out the arms and bolt back in everything, all the tracks in the right position. And you don't forget to plug back in the motor and you'll be good. Also, I was going to forget, but if you have a 2-door car, be sure to choose the model for the 2-door car. It's not going to fit if you have a 4-door, they're not the same, so be careful with that. I received the first time the wrong model, so I didn't even have to unmount the regulator. You could see straight away that it wouldn't fit, so be careful with that, and they can be quite difficult to find, except if you go directly to Toyota and they'll give you one for a good price for them. So if you have the same problem as I did, you can use a metal piece like I had. I found these brackets, straight brackets, in my shed. They're used to install windows usually, but they were the right length and thickness to fix my issue. So I put them in the deeper part of the arm, and with a nut and bolt got them in place. Of course I had to file the end of the bolt and as well the nut, because there's not much space when the arm gets spread out, or when they get across one another. So you have to make sure it's not too thick to not have another issue. It will just block your window if you do that. If you want to work on this piece more easily, you can take out the arms of the tracks, the lower one or the upper one. You have to bend back these little metal things, and then you can pull out your arm from the track and make it easier to work on. And once you put it back in, just slide it along the track, and then don't forget to bend back the little metal stoppers. Alright, so it's been mounted back in. Not only does it work, I also found out the cause of my twisted lower arm. When I lowered the window, the speaker that I replaced earlier on were thicker than the original ones. They got more into the door than the original ones, and the window would just hit and deviate from its path against that the magnet of the speaker every time, and after many number of times it just ended up completely twisting the arm and not working correctly anymore. So to fix that second issue, I just use homemade spacers to get the magnet more out, and it's not very beautiful, but a watering hose works fine, and now the window goes up and down without any problems. So just think of that if you're going to change your speakers. Make sure they don't touch the window. At first I didn't notice it. It didn't make any noise, and the motor didn't really have trouble doing it, but in the end it screwed up everything. Alright, so I hope this video helped you out. Once you've got everything back in, just put your door panel, pop in the fasteners, and put it back in. The little screws, the little plastic ones, you just have to push them in and they'll fasten themselves. And as you can see, anyone can do that. It's not very complicated. You need very few tools, and it will save you quite a bit of money if you do it yourself. So good luck, and see you next time.